Hey boys and girls, today we're going to review and learn how to multiply a fraction times a whole number. So when we start out, we need to understand how to write a whole number as a fraction. That's going to be our first step in multiplying a fraction times a whole number. So if you look up here at the top of your notes, you can see that it says 4 wholes can also be written as a fraction. Since the circles above each have one piece and there are 4 of them, 4 pieces of 1 whole can be written as 4/1. If you think about what a numerator and denominator represents, your denominator represents how many pieces your whole is split up in. This is a whole piece. So your whole is in 1 whole, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Therefore, you have 4 pieces. Each one is in a whole. Go ahead and pause the video and practice the bottom very quickly. Hopefully you got those answers correct down there on the bottom. If you did not, take a look and see what our misunderstanding was and rewind the video. Now that we understand that a whole can be written as a fraction, we are going to take our first step in learning how to multiply fractions using an algorithm. So let's look at number 1 up here at the top, and let's read our word problem to understand the context of the question. It says a factory makes sheets of metal that are 1/8 of an inch thick. If a worker at the factory makes a stack of 3 of the sheets, how many inches thick will the whole stack be? So I know that each one is 1/8 of an inch thick, and I have 3 of those. So I know that using that repeated addition, I can multiply instead of using repeated addition. Well, our strategy to do this is written down below. Make sure that you've highlighted, circled, starred this. In order to multiply a whole number by a fraction, your first step is going to be to write your whole number as a fraction. So I'm going to take that whole number 3 and I'm going to change it and write it as 3/1. Then our strategy gets even easier after that if it's even possible. All you have to do is multiply the numerators, then multiply the denominator. So you are going to multiply straight across on your problem. I'm going to multiply my numerators, 1 times 3, which I know equals 3. Then I'm going to multiply the denominators, 8 times 1, which equals 8. Whatever you get when you multiply your numerators, that's your numerator in your answer. Whatever you get when you multiply your denominators, that's the denominator in your answer. You always have to look at it at the end and see if it can be simplified. 3/8 cannot be simplified, so I know it is as simple as it goes. Go ahead and pause the video and practice the problem below. So looking at this bottom problem, I know that I'm going to be multiplying 1/9 times 4 because now that we've got 4 items that are each 1/9 of an inch thick, I can use repeated addition, which I know is multiplication. I know I can change my fraction. 1/9 is going to stay the same, and I'm going to multiply it by the fraction 4/1, which is what I converted my whole number to. Then I'm going to multiply across. 1 times 4 equals 4 over my denominator, which is 9 times 1, which equals 9. 4/9 cannot be simplified. Therefore, I know that is my final answer. Go ahead and work on the assignment posted on Google Classroom.